Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 10th day of January 2019. Well, if you're going to look at the entire month, day, and year, it's a 5-day. If not, it's a 1-day. So either change, new beginnings on this Jupiter day of expansion. It's a Thursday. So if you're doing magics today, you might... the moon is waxing, so you would do magics of increase. So gain, prosperity, healing, things like that. But maybe you're going to start something new today. Maybe something's coming to fruition. That could be another, but that's more of an ending, isn't it? But with the 5 energy in there as well, you know, you're talking about change. So yeah, I mean, it could be starting something new. A change is on the horizon for you. Let's count 13 and see what the cards have to say to us today on this expansive Thursday. Well, we have the 3 of Pentacles. I think we've had this before, somewhat recently. But here you see a guy who's doing some stonework. He's a craftsman. You've got some folks that have come along. Maybe they're walking along and they're watching him work. Maybe they're thinking about hiring him. Pentacles is about money and crafting your skill and foundations and home and hearth and the physical, mundane aspects of life, you know, a physical form, basically. But 3 is about triplicities. The Pentacles is about earth element, or again, physical matter, our physical presence. 3 is catalytic. It's about unity. It's about alignment of there was something about mastery. Let me take a look and see, because I wrote something down about mastery on the 3, and I believe it was on the 3 of discs or 3 of pentacles. Yeah, creation, divinity, and fate, but that's not the one. It must be a different one that I wrote it down on. But the whole idea of even progression and structure, or even a commercial transaction like it looks like here, maybe that's what they're doing. So maybe issues today surrounding employment. Maybe you are someone who is a craftsman of some kind. Maybe you build homes, maybe you build cabinetry or what have you, but whatever it is your skill is, today is a day where is a good day where you're really in alignment with it. Things seem to be flowing well, even to the point of maybe, you know, making some money from the whole situation. And the other aspect of that is that if that's going to flow for you today, then you really do need to be in alignment. You know, you need to not be struggling within, you know, or distracted from without. That's kind of hard, you know. People right now, they just want to go to work and they want to get paid. And for some people, that's not happening. And, you know, I saw a statistic, and I'm not sure if it was 1 million or 3 million. But anyway, there's a whole lot of contract. I think it was 1 million, 1.6 million or something like that. But a lot of people, the 800,000 figure that you hear of, those are actual federal workers that are employed by the federal government. The rest of them are contractors, and you've got over 1 million of them that whose jobs are threatened right now. They don't work. They don't get paid. So there's not going to be any retroactive pay for those folks, in other words. So when you just cavalierly shut down the government because you're not getting what you want, well, yeah, a president can do that, but why would you? Why would you put at risk anyone? Because now you're talking about maybe food stamp money not going out. You're talking about tax refunds not going out. People rely on that money, but it's not just the 800,000 that you hear about. It's all the contract workers. And then from there, it's all the people that these folks do business with. So it's not something that you want to be cavalier about, like this guy seems to like to do. I don't get what I want. I'm going to stamp my feet. But the problem is we don't get to ply our trade, do we? We don't get to work our craft. We don't get to go to work. We don't get paid. So likely what this card is having to do with, if you're one of those folks, Lordy, you should not have to go through this. You know, a government should not be able to shut down and not pay people. If you've got issues and they need to be worked out, well, then work them out, but don't make the rest of the population suffer. And this guy seems to like to do stuff like that, whether it's not paying people that he does business with, you know, having to get sued or what have you, or the whole university business they had to shut down. He had to pay a whole bunch of money back for whatever that was. It's all the deception and self-centeredness surrounding this guy. It all seems to come from that. Let's do another card. And maybe this will be something that will tell us the direction we're going. Well, the Wheel of Fortune either can mean that this is going to end here soon and people are going to get paid retroactively, or we're talking again the 10th card, which aligns well with today, the 10th day of the month. So, but honestly, if it's not that this is going to resolve itself here in the next, day or two, then what the Wheel of Fortune is suggesting is that the wheel is turning. So anything can happen. Technically, the Wheel of Fortune is usually a very positive card. It usually means gain. It usually means one cycle's ending and another's beginning. So it's very possible that this whole nightmare could come to an end for folks, and I hope that it does, because I think as of this weekend, it'll be the longest one in history. Well, that doesn't help people, right? It doesn't help people. These people, everybody lives from paycheck to paycheck. We don't have money we can borrow from daddy. We don't have that. Most people live from paycheck to paycheck, assuming there's enough to even get them there. Okay. And people that work for the federal government, don't always make a lot of money. I read one person, they take home like $500 a week. You're talking $2,000 a month, and they have a family of 4. I don't know what the wife makes, but it isn't very much from what they were indicating. So they don't have, and if they have to pay for childcare, my son pays for childcare. It takes up, oh gosh, at least half of my daughter-in-law's paycheck, and she makes good money. So, both of them do. But to have to then be faced with no income, and they don't work for the federal government, but to be someone that's faced with a mortgage or rent even, but a mortgage and childcare and a car payment or 2 car payments and food and all of that, you cannot be the sort of country that shuts down that possibility to make those payments. You can't do that to people. And yet this guy just thinks it's just fine. Well, unfortunately, although this is indicating something positive is coming, it could also mean that we have a little bit of time left before it gets there. So hopefully this is ending, but we may not be quite yet out of the woods on this. And that's just sad. If we look at, together, the numerology of the 10 and the 3 can be 13, which we can leave that way as the master witch number, like I like to do. Or you can reduce it to 4, like most people do, that aren't me. And then you can look at structure and foundation issues. See, it's about how do we, and our financial security. But let's see what the rune has to say. Well, Tiwaz, which is 17 or 8 numerologically. So leadership, which we need, justice, social justice in particular, might for right, spiritual warrior. We're going to have to sum it up at that if we're dealing with this crisis on a personal level. But we all have to stand in our own power and demand an end to this. Demand an end to this abuse of power, this abuse of people. he was points to spirit. And it's saying that that needs to be our foundation in life. That we need to understand that we're not here to oppress people or to be harmful to people. And especially if you're in a position of authority over others, you have to use that in a wise way and not one that interferes with someone's ability to make a living. But again, this could portend something very positive happening, such as the shutdown will end and the people will get paid. Or it could just indicate that we might be in for a little more of it. In terms of the wheel turning, it's not quite finished yet. So hanging tough is difficult, I know. And the outrageous suggestions that they want to have, go and do clean up trash around your apartment complex and try to get some money off on your rent. Stupid things like that. No, end the shutdown. Pay the people. You've got TSA people that now are calling in sick because they don't want to work if they're not going to get paid. You can't blame people for this, okay? You can't be mad at them for it. You had 61,000 pilots that wrote a letter to Donald saying, look, dude, this isn't working. You can't have this it's like you're worried about all this stuff coming across the border that isn't happening. Nobody wants to live in truth. And people's very lives are being threatened. They could be thrown out of their homes. It's a trickle-down effect. Republicans talk about, the old Reaganomics, trickle-down economics. Well, it's a joke. It never trickles down to anybody. It stays right there with the people who make the fabulous wealth. They aren't going to share any of it with people. It was an illusion. People sat there and bought into that crap. And now we're doing it again for some reason. Somehow, if you give these incredible tax breaks to the wealthy, then it's going to benefit the little guy. It's a lie. Okay? It's a lie. So, anyhow, today we're going to have to stand in our tiwas, stand and be the spiritual warrior that we are. And write your Congress people. I don't know. The Senate is a loony bin right now. But write Congress, write your House of Representatives, and call them. Let your voice be heard. Assuming there's anybody there to pick up the phone, I don't know. Maybe not. I guess the FDA is going to start inspecting food a little more. The real critical stuff, like fish and some of the produce, Yeah. So we need to end the shutdown. We need to put people back to work. We need to have the wheel of fortune turn in their favor. And until that happens, we'll have to do this, won't we? So I'm sorry this is happening to everyone. Because if it's not happening to you in particular, specifically, it's happening to people you know. So anyhow, let's think good thoughts. Let's cast the intention today of ending all of this. If you're going to do a little magic, how about that? Do a little bit of healing, do a little bit of awakening, speaking truth to power, do something, but, cast the positive intention that this nightmare is going to end for folks and that the guy in the Oval Office will wake the hell up. So anyhow, be good to one another. Be good to yourself, please. This is a difficult time. Thanks so much for coming by. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for coming. If you've come back, thank you again. It's nice to see everyone. Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you on Monday, and blessed be.